Thank you, Speaker. I rise to make a short contribution to this debate. I appreciate the member for Barwon seeking to set a set of standards how the government will engage with regional communities as they have limitations with access, transport and engagement for these communities. Listening to the debate, I am not really interested in what people have done previously or what people haven't done previously, but about making improvements going forwards. Stakeholder engagement in regional communities is often a piecemeal approach. Often there are no newspapers to advertise to, the internet and telephone connection is limited, and there are wide distances for these communities to travel for services, if in fact they have any ability to travel on public transport. It may surprise members in this place that we have communities that are remote, just a few hours' drive to the city. How is it possible that the communities such as mine in Wallandilly have no access to town water, have dirt roads and unserviced by most things provided by council and state, yet Wallandilly is classified in some regards as metropolitan and part of Greater Sydney, which is the concern with this bill. There is a long history to this provision. It began even before I moved to Wallandilly and before we even had a state seat of our own returned to us. We were, up until recent times, as a community split between 3 or 4 separate state seats. Back on 7th of March 1989, the then Minister for Planning, who was elected to represent his metro community in Manly, the Honourable David Hay MP, signed the declaration of a schedule of the Sydney region to include outer areas of the shires of Baulkham Hills, Hawkesbury, Hornsby, Sutherland, Warringah, Wallandilly and Wyong. This took away our regional status. The effect of this declaration changed how the government allows provisions to come into our region, and sometimes we are eligible for funding being in metro areas, other times we are not eligible due to the regional focus of grants. These paper maps and lines don't change the reality of this situation though. We are really, in reality, a peri-urban area, a community forced to travel for work and school who live in paradise but are not provided the same opportunities as other regional communities. It takes 4 hours for me to visit the residents of Urandri, a remote mining town cut off as the previous access through the Burragarang Valley is inaccessible through the Warragamba Dam. The rural roads which do service the town are accessible only with a 4-wheel drive and are often closed. This government has told the residents they are unable to use the airstrip as it was gifted to the government by the previous owner, Val Luidi. Only recently, some of my towns and villages had access to town water and sewer, yet there is an expectation for the Wallandilly community to accept 30,000 homes. Added to the complexity, half of my electorate is counted as being metro, the other regional. Members, I know the answer to these issues for Wallandilly is not in this bill. I will certainly support any improvement of the engagement with regional communities, including the provisions that this bill supports through best practice. However, I will say the government needs to set the boundaries sensibly and not rely on old decisions. Otherwise, the funding intended for communities that are remote and regional, that are actually some of the closest geographically to Sydney, will continue, as always, to miss out.